Is Cram? Are we live? I think we are live. Let me know if we are live or if this is Mark, aka Cram, just talking to himself. Welcome. We are chatting today about nice girl habits. Nice girl habits you want to be breaking. It's a really interesting conversation. We, in theory, have Dr. Diana Kirschner here with us. However, technically, she's invisible right now. So, as in she's not in the room. So, Mark is going to be holding the fort until that happens. So you're stuck with me for right now. Welcome. If you can hear me, just to assure me that I'm not just talking to myself here, can you pop a hi in the chat? Can you let me know in the chat if you can hear me, if we're here together, what's going on? Nice girl habits that you want to be breaking. That is the topic of today. I've got 3. Dr. Diana will have 3 when she joins us as well. And yes, I am being crammed today. Hello, Pat. All right, great. I am here, and it's not just me talking to me. We've got some friends here. Excellent. Good to see you, Pat. Good to see you, Claire. Guys, let me know in the chat. I'm going to chat back here. Hi. This is Cram. In case you're wondering why my name is Cram, it's a name that I sometimes use. My friends sometimes call me that. So I thought, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to be Cram today. I'm going to be my alter ego. Actually, if you ever get the chance, here's the interesting thing. If you ever get the chance and you are on one of Helena Hart's live streams, ask Helena who is Cram Rosenfeld. Just ask the question and see what happens. That's all I'm going to give you. Just ask the question, see what happens. Who is Cram Rosenfeld? You'll probably get an interesting reaction. So welcome Pat, welcome Livia, welcome Jennifer. I've got your chats here. Welcome Melissa, welcome Lexi. It is great to see you guys. Post in the chat how your day is going, where you're from. I'd love to hear. Starts with a K, Pat. K-R-A-M. That's with a K. Welcome Ashanti. Welcome Pat. Yeah, let me know where you're from, where you are, how your day is going. I would love to hear. We're going to be talking some nice girl habits today. Nice girl habits. Now, in case you're wondering, if you have just joined, where is Dr. Diana Kirschner, author of Love in 90 Days? Where is she? Well, I got to be honest, I've asked myself the same question. I hope she is okay. She definitely confirmed yesterday. I promise I didn't make up that we were going to chat. So I hope Dr. Diana is okay, and maybe something went weird with the times, or hopefully that's all good. But you know what? We're here now. I didn't want to let you guys down, so you're stuck with me for right now. You're going to have to deal with it. We're hanging out, and I really hope that Dr. Diana will be able to join us very soon. Ashana says, I need this. I forgot I can click your comments. Look at this. Ashana says, I need this. I'm way too nice, and God sent me this live. I love it. How are you, Mark? I'm bloody fantastic. Thank you, PA. Thank you for joining. Now, we usually do this every week on Instagram, by the way. So if you're not following @MakeHimYours, I come on every week live. So if you're more of an Instagram person, a YouTube person, although you know what? Now I'm here. I'm like, I should do this more on YouTube. I don't get to hang out with you guys enough live. It's all pre-records on YouTube, whereas Insta, it's all live. And I'm feeling that right now. We got Minnesota. We got the US. We got Sheffield in the UK. We got the Aussies. We've got Julian, probably from Perth. We've got Nashville. We got Bali, Indonesia. We got Gambia. Wow, that's awesome. We got Florida in the house. I love Florida. Beautiful place. Yeah, let me know where you're from. YouTube is great. Says, thank you, PA. Appreciate that. I keep looking at the comments and then looking at you guys. Looking at the comments, looking at you guys. Got to remember, good eye contact, Mark. Keep it in your mind. New York City in the house. Nice. Claire says, do this more. Hungary in the house. I love it. We're international here, and we're all wanting to build healthy relationships. We're all wanting to empower ourselves to say, you know what? I want to be in those top 1% of people who actually get really great relationships. I don't want to just get married. 50% of marriages get divorced. I don't want to just get married and stay together, because even half of those or 3/4 of those stay together unhappily or stay together because of circumstances. I want to be in the top 1 to 10%. Hell, let's raise our standards, the top 1% of healthy relationships. So we need to put thoughts to how that works, and strategies and tools, and finding the right person, and then building with the right person is all part of it. So that's what we're here to do. And nice girl habits, which is the topic of today. Let's see if we can take that off for now. Nice girl habits are things that unfortunately can hurt your chances of having one of those 1% relationships. So why is that? Why is being a nice girl a problem? Well, unfortunately, when you are too nice, and this is just me as a man talking, when you are too nice, what starts to happen is we start to feel you letting go of things that are actually probably kind of important to you. You're very giving, you always want us to feel good, and it makes us feel better. Like it makes us like feel good all the time. What's the problem with that, you might ask? Hey, I'm a nice girl, I make him feel good all the time. What the hell's the issue with that? Well, the issue is that we all need growth in life. And where does growth come from? The majority of it comes from being uncomfortable. It comes from outside your comfort zone, right? So if we're comfortable around you all the time, it probably means, unfortunately, we grow less and we feel less challenged as men around nice girls than we do around not nice girls. And do you think overall we're more likely to choose the one that, oh, she makes us feel good, but we don't really grow and we can kind of get away with anything, or the one that challenges us and holds us to a higher standard? Now, of course, not every man is going to choose that. There's plenty of men that are just like, oh, I just want it to be super easy and I don't want to be challenged at all. But those aren't typically the men that are going to produce a 1% healthy relationship. They're just not. They want the easiest route. It's like those are the types of guys that would rather move on to the next relationship very, very quickly, find someone who's easier, find someone who's extremely low maintenance, who has no needs, but they're not really in it for relationship. So if you're wanting to be in that 1%, dropping some of those nice girl habits is really important because it makes you respectable. It shows that you're setting boundaries with us, and it forces us to grow. And of course, when we are growing and challenged, we value the thing that's growing and challenging us, right? It's like it's the old cliche. If I give you a car versus if you work hard for 3 years and save every penny and earn that car, which do you value more? Of course, you value the one that you had to work for. It's human psychology. You can hate it, but it's the way it is. We value the things that require work. Now, you can take that information, you can say, oh, I'm going to go and be an intentional, huge, challenging, avoidant pain in the ass, and that's how I'm going to get attraction, right? I'm going to manipulate, and I'm going to use all the tricks to be as fake challenging as possible. You can do that, and it'll work for a while, but eventually your lack of vulnerability will kill connection in the relationship. So what we're talking about here is real challenge. We're talking about healthy challenge, and you'll always have this because you will always have things that are important to you, and thus you'll always have boundaries around those things that are important to you. So you can create natural challenge just by being truly authentic. Nice girl is not really authentic. It can feel that way, but eventually what happens is any nice girl is giving up things that are important to her, or not speaking up, or avoiding conflict, and that's where it becomes inauthentic. So if we think about a spectrum, right, you don't want to be on the opposite end of the spectrum either. So if this is nice girl, extreme nice girl, then what do we have at the other end that we probably don't want to be either? Extreme ball buster, right? It's sort of extreme. Do you know what I mean? I'm not using words very well today, but you know what I mean, right? Full on hard ass. I was working with a client recently and I said, hey, let's look at all your dating standards from date 0 to 4, just in the early phase. And she came up with like 20 of them. And she's like, Mark, I'm going to be such a ball buster, 20 dating standards. No guy's ever going to want a relationship with me. I said, no. You're not being a ball buster. You're just knowing where your standards are. We're not going to take you all the way to the other end of the spectrum. You don't have to worry. Confidence is in the middle. Confidence is being able to get stuff done without too much effort. So the issue is nice girls tend not, which end was it? Nice girl end? Nice girls tend not to get stuff done at all. They get walked on and they lose respect. Ball busters get stuff done, believe me, they get it done, but they get it done in such a violent, forceful way that it doesn't look smooth, it doesn't look easy, and it doesn't look confident. You want to be in the middle. The middle is where the beauty happens. The middle is like what my partner, frankly, has taught me. The middle is where you remain open-hearted, you remain feminine, you remain soft, and you are firm and get respect and get shit done. It's a truly open heart combined with fiercely unapologetic standards. That's the sweet spot. That's the 1% healthy relationship right there. So that's what I want for you, and that's what I want you to be able to do. So today, I don't know where Dr. Diana is. I'm sorry. Today, maybe Diana, if she comes and joins, I hope she's okay, sending love to Dr. Diana out to the universe. Today, I'm going to go through a few of those habits. I plan 3. I can probably pull out a couple more to talk about as well. Things to be really aware of when you are maybe floating a little too close to that nice girl end of the spectrum. If you have questions, by the way, put it in the chat. A quick question here from Pat says, what time of day are you on Insta? It's actually this time every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific US time every Wednesday. 8 a.m.? Yeah, 8 a.m. Nice and early here. We got Dubai in the house. We got, who else we got? We got Melissa. Sparkle has been single for 12 years. All right, you're in the right place, Sparkle. Let's do this. So nice girl habits. Let me bring these over here. Nice girl habits we want to bring up. First one, big mindset shift, ladies. Thinking that your niceness equals goodness. As in, the nicer I am, the more of a good person I am. Very important piece about human psychology is that we all want to be good people. Every single one of us. From you to the terrorist, to everyone in between, to the mafia boss, to we all want to be good people. It's like a universal human thing that we want to be good people. So we have to look at how we define that, because how we become a good person, maybe we protect our family. Hitler thought he was being a good person because he was extending the German race, right? We all want to be good people. So the way you become a good person is going to dictate your outcome, because you always have this, I want to be a good person carrot. So if your definition of good person is I'm always nice to people and I always make people feel good, this can definitely lead you into nice girl territory. You got to be careful of this one. Because the truth is, if you're always being nice to be a good person, then it's going to be very hard for you to bring up some of those conversations. It's going to be tempting for you to enter codependence and enable some of his shitty behaviors, not set boundaries with his shitty behaviors. And frankly, it's going to be hard for you to have a backbone, because anyone with a backbone, man or woman, you need to make other people feel shit sometimes. Pardon my French. You need to. If you're calling someone out about their drinking, if you're saying, hey, my needs aren't being met in this relationship, if you're saying, no, I'm not okay with that. That's my limit. That's my boundary. It could be about anything at all. It could be date night, could be present time, could be his interactions with other females. It could be when you want a commitment by, it could be whether or not you have sex. It could be literally anything. What he wants and what you want, if you're being authentic, will eventually run into each other like bulls. And when they do, you got to have that no muscle. You got to have that, this is not working for me. You've just run into backbone, biatch. You've hit a stop. You've hit the stop sign, mate. And that's where, when you speak up, he won't like it. And you know what? Sometimes you'll hit his stop sign and you won't like it either. You will hit each other's stop signs. And when you do, it's going to be uncomfortable. Let's say, for example, my partner says, hey, Mark, I really want 2 date nights a week. And I'm like, you know what? I think that's a great idea. I think we haven't been spending enough present time together. Let's do it. So we do that for a while, and then she moves the goalpost. And she says, you know what? I want 3 date nights a week. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think I have the capacity for that. For whatever reason, it's just she's just run into me, right? I'm like, 3 is too many. I think 2 is a reasonable, long-term, sustainable option. 3 is too many. She says, I want 3. I say, I don't want 3. We have to negotiate there. But if I just nice guy it and say, I don't want her to be upset. All right, yeah, let's do 3 date nights. What's going to happen? right? First of all, I'm going to lose a little part of myself. So she's going to feel that and lose a little respect for me. Second, I'm going to slowly get a little bit resentful as I'm doing that third date night because it wasn't really truly what I wanted. I didn't speak up. I was too nice. And now I'm starting to get walked on in the relationship. So I have to be willing, when she says, Mark, I want 3, I have to be willing to upset her and say, actually, that don't work for me. You've hit a boundary. We can negotiate somewhere else. And if more present time is really important to her, then she needs to tell me that, and we need to find a different solution. But I need to be able to tell her in the first place that, hey, that's not working for me. In other words, to be authentic, I need to upset her. I need to literally upset my partner as an act of authenticity. You see the issue here with niceness equals goodness? If I believe that being a nice person makes me a good person, then when my girlfriend comes and asks for that third date night, I'm in a pickle. And a lot of the times it's going to be, I need to be nice to be a good person, so I have to lie to her here because good person rules all, so I have to lie. I don't know why I'm doing this. What is this? It's my body. I'm trying to describe here. I'm trying to be visual with you guys as well. So your definition of being a good person has to include hurting people's feelings sometimes. That's the bottom line here. If you are a bad person when you hurt someone's feelings, you're in trouble because you're constantly going to end up in that situation where it's like, oh shit, do I tell the truth and then hurt someone's feelings and make myself a bad person? Or do I be a nice person and a good person and tell a little white lie and later get really resentful and dishonest and disrespected? So think about your definition of a good person, and to drop the nice girl stuff, you've got to understand that being a good person includes hurting people's feelings sometimes, even the people you love. It means speaking truths when they're uncomfortable. It means letting them suffer sometimes. Let's say that your partner, let's say that your partner, we could do drinking or casino or something. Let's say that your partner has been drinking a fair bit and it's been fine. He goes out with his buddies, he drinks, but then one time he goes out and he crosses some kind of boundary with his drinking. Maybe he doesn't cross like a super major one, but there's a photo that pops up of him and there's like a girl on his lap and kissing his cheek, for example. And he's sort of like really into it. Or maybe he even goes a step further and he says, I got drunk and I made out with her, but nothing else happened. I came home to you. Whatever. He crosses a line with his drinking, right? At that stage, he needs a hard-ass boundary. If you think he's still worth staying with and you want to work on the relationship, he needs a hard-ass boundary. He no longer gets the same freedoms when he goes out drinking with his mates. For example, you might say, look, I'm going to be honest. Because you've crossed the boundary now, for me to keep feeling safe with you, I need for you to maybe not drink when you go out with your mates for at least a month or two. Or that would be something I would ask for. Whatever it is, you can't nice girl there and go, oh, it's fine, I don't want to lose him. Right? He's clearly smashed into a boundary of yours, and you've clearly got to be able to make him feel shit by saying, you know what, you have hit that, and here's what I need to ask for because the trust has been broken. So this thing has changed for me. And my request is that you maybe not drink when you're out with your mates for at least a couple of months to rebuild trust. He's not going to like that. He's going to hate that. And he will have to make a decision at that point in that shitty feeling if he wants to lose you, or if he wants to keep drinking with his mates and lose you, or if he wants to choose a new set of boundaries because he broke the old set. But either way, you have to not be a nice girl about it to get that respect and for him to know that you mean business. And then he won't do it again either way. Either way. If he does, he'll get the consequences. So, we got some stuff in the chat. Please let me know. We got Perth, Courtney from Perth. Nice. We got Steph from Texas. Let me know where you're from. We are talking nice girl habits you got to break. We're supposed to be here with Dr. Diana Kirschner. I hope she's okay. It is live. I think she didn't realize it was live. Oh, no. Oh, look at Mark. Drop the communication ball. Drop the communication ball. It is live. So hopefully she'll be able to join us. If not, If not, you're stuck with me. I'm going to email her. Yes, it is. Come on in when you're ready. Come on in when you are ready. Okay. Wow, we didn't communicate that very well at all. There you go. All right, so hopefully she'll join us soon. So number one, thinking that niceness equals being a good person. Got to break away from that definition. Understand that as a great girlfriend, as a great partner, as a great wife, sometimes you are going to hurt your partner's feelings. That's okay. That is very much okay. He's not going to like it, and it's not going to feel good for you because you're probably pretty empathic. You've got to do it anyway. Hurting your partner's feelings by being authentic is part of creating a 1% healthy relationship. Very important. All right. Philly, Pennsylvania. We're actually looking at moving near there, Brandy. We are looking at being up in that, moving up there. I can talk about that more in a little bit. Okay, so this number two relates a little bit. You never want to make a guy feel like you will stay with him under any circumstances, as in you'll never walk away. Now, again, I know what you might be thinking here. Well, all right, does that mean I've got to be a complete ball buster and threaten the relationship? Because you can do that and you can get a sense of power from it, and you can, hair trigger break up with the guy over the smallest thing, and he will get anxious to be with you. You'll start making him anxious, but that's not a 1% healthy relationship doing that. You can't build trust. You can't build a healthy relationship by always just being the breaker-upper and pulling that on a hair trigger to get him to behave. It's actually just dodging vulnerability. I don't want to be vulnerable. He's done something a bit off. I'm just going to break up with him, and that'll get the behavior I want from him. You can't be doing that. So what do I mean by this when I say that nice girls make him know that you'll never, ever leave him? Again, it's finding the middle ground. So you've got to know exactly what is okay and not okay with you. And this is something I really work on with clients is, where is your line? Because it's going to be different depending on your specific upbringing, culture, love language, tendencies, things like that, right? Now, I was going to draw a little drawing for you, but I think it's hard to do on this thing. Is there a whiteboard option? No, there's not a white. Okay, can't draw for you right now. So you have to walk that balance between having an open heart and being able to be, having an open heart and being able to be really vulnerable with him, but also being able to draw your line in the sand where necessary, so that he knows that when push comes to shove, you will have a backbone. And if you have to, you will walk away back to dating, and you're willing to do that. You can get another guy if you really need to. Nice girls don't want to do that. Nice girls always want to give more chances and always want to say, oh, it's fine. You have to be able to give that message when he really crosses a boundary, that if push comes to shove, you'll walk away. Let me give you an example of this so you can sort of get it. My partner's a very open-hearted woman. She's great. She's very good with her emotions. She's very good at sharing her feelings. She's very appreciative. She tells me I'm handsome like 4 times a day. Like she's great. She's great. She's very open-hearted, and she's never, ever threatened to break up with me to get me to behave, ever. She's never gone to that end of the spectrum. When we were dating at the beginning, we were how many months in? Maybe like 3 or 4 months in. Yeah, about 3 or 4 months in, and we'd sort of been, I think, just doing the exclusive thing, but not really official. So I was still pretty darn hesitant. We were exclusive, but I was sort of going, oh, I don't know, I kind of want to be single. I don't really want to plan any future stuff. I was really into her, don't get me wrong, but we were long distance, and I had this I don't really know if I want to fully, I just wasn't 100% in. I was exclusive, but I just wasn't 100% in. And she picked up on this. And so basically things were going great. And then there was some texting back and forth that I was doing with a friend. Now, this friend was a woman, and this is a friend I've never slept with, never dated, had no intention of dating. But it was kind of like texting about my dating life with her. And obviously I was with my partner at the time, so I was exclusive, but I was sort of just texting with this friend about how I was a bit nonchalant about the relationship, right? I wasn't like uninvested, but I was a little bit like, yeah, I don't know, just kind of feeling it out. I was a bit nonchalant with this other friend that I was texting. So my partner happened to see me texting at the time. It just kind of happened that way. And she read one, she asked if she could read it. I was like, oh, yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to hide it. You can read it. And she read it and she absorbed it. And the next day she came to me and she basically said, look, Mark, she stopped and we sort of sat down. She's like, don't fuck me around. We're long distance. And if you want to be single, I'm never going to stop you doing that. But don't waste my time doing it. If you want to be single, just tell me. This long distance is way too much work if you don't see potential here, real potential, a real future. So just don't fuck me around and let me know your final decision by tomorrow. I think it was tomorrow or the next day, whatever. So I was like, oh, she wasn't threatening, right? She was just really friggin' backboned and honest. Really friggin' backboned and really friggin' honest. So that's where you want to be. She wasn't nice girl. 90% of the time, she's very empathic, very understanding, very open-hearted. But when it needs to, right, she changes gears and suddenly her standards are shoved in my face. And I have a free decision, but a decision that has major consequences. So that's what we're going for here. We want the open-heartedness. I keep getting my sides wrong because on the camera, I'm reversed. We want the open-heartedness, right? You never want to be that extremely avoidant, I'm threatening to the relationship to get my wants and needs met. That's not what we're going for. You want that open-heartedness. But when you are that open-hearted, you need to be able to ramp it up if the guy's not behaving and give him real consequences of his actions. Make him feel bad if necessary and show with your words and actions, and it has to be genuine, show with your words and actions that you're willing to walk away if your wants and needs and standards for the relationship aren't met. That whole incident gave me a new level of respect for my partner, and now we're committed and we're planning very long-term stuff. I'll have more news on that soon. Bottom line is that was the first time I thought, ooh, this is like a life partner. This is a really high-value woman. I sort of had a sense for that already, but when she changed gears like that and went into full, vulnerable, backbone, don't mess with me mode, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't forceful. It was just, here's some consequences of your actions if you keep this up, and I will pull the trigger. That is where you've got to be with your standards. If you really want the guy to go, hey, this is the type of woman that I'm gonna respect so much that all others are out because this is a real challenge and she's really holding me to my highest self as a man. Magic. Sparkle says, yeah, I like that. I'm very honest. Don't waste my time. I'm still single. Nice. And look, I think, Sparkle, you might have said earlier in the chat, by the way, guys, if you have questions, please pop them in the chat. I'll answer them at the end of the stream. If you get in the space, because dating is always a balance between open-heartedness on the one hand and filtering on the other. If you're too open-hearted and you don't filter, you tend to get stuck in relationships, and that's where the nice girls often end up, stuck in shitty relationships. They're not filtering, but they're open-hearted, so they get relationships, right, or they get attraction. On the other hand, sometimes if your heart is more closed, but if you are more sort of on the standard side, you filter really, really well. So you get people out, but there's a fear of intimacy there that stops them coming in. And it's hard to have both. Usually we're good at one or the other. We're either good at opening our hearts or we're good at closing them. It's hard to do both at the same time and really hold that dynamic of, I'm going to be open-hearted and I'm going to be ruthless with my standards. That's a difficult dance. That really is a difficult dance. So, yeah, I think I even experienced that dance as a coach. When I'm working with clients one-on-one, sometimes a client really needs like a firm, strong opinion from Mark. Like she needs that validation to say, okay, I just have my intuition here. I want an expert in the field to validate it. I want a kind of an outside opinion here because I'm too stuck in my own head. So there's that side. And then other times it's like the client always knows best. So I want to check into the client's wisdom because it's always more powerful if a client realizes something on her own, right? Rather than me just outright telling her. So in sessions, that's a balance, and it's kind of a weird metaphor, but in sessions, that's a balance that we as coaches have to create. Is we'll be going full sort of consultant mode, and then we'll have to change gears and be completely like, you're the expert, you know the answer. Whoop, I'm the expert again. You're the expert, you know the answer, backwards and forwards. And most coaches tend to be really good at one or the other. It's like they're really good advisors, but they don't know how to draw out your wisdom, or they're great at drawing out your wisdom, but they don't actually have much expert knowledge themselves. So that was a weird metaphor, but you know what? I thought of it and I said it, and we're here. So you're still here, which is good. All right, let's see if Dr. Diana is joining us. So we've talked about nice girl habits you want to break. Him thinking that you'll be always there, never walk away under any circumstances. No, there should be circumstances where he knows under which you'll walk away. That is your minimum standards that challenges him. Number 2, thinking niceness makes you a good person. No, niceness does not make you a good person. Sometimes to be a good person, you have to hurt people's feelings, because the only way to be authentic is to, sometimes your authenticity, people won't like it. People won't like your boundaries. That is normal. That is healthy. That is fine. So let's look at number 3 here. Number 3. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Is that a drum roll? I don't know what that was. Is that a drum roll? Let's see if Diana's joining us. I don't know. She hasn't come in yet. I hope she's here soon. Number 3 is thinking that receiving equals owing. Receiving equals owing. How many of you are guilty of this? You go, oh, the guy did something for me. I have to do something back now. How many are guilty of that? Oh, he did this. It's like a feeling. It's maybe, yeah, you maybe don't even execute on it sometimes, but it's like, oh, I don't want him to do that because that was such a nice thing that I have to give back now. I have to do something. I have to show my appreciation back in actions. That is very much a nice girl habit that you want to break. As women, as feminine energy women, we men need you to be good receivers. And if you've grown up in an environment where every time someone gave you something, it wasn't actually a gift, it was actually a covert contract, so you had some owing, you'll grow up not wanting to receive. Let's imagine that your neighbor says, oh, hey, Christina, here's a pot plant, absolutely for free, just a gift from me, have a pot plant. And you're like, oh, great. I love plants. So you put the pot plant in your house. You're like, oh, that's a nice plant. And then the next week, the neighbor says, hey, Christina, do you know how I gave you that pot plant? Would you be open to mowing my grass? I did give you that pot plant after all. And you're like, I guess they did give me the pot plant, so I'll have to mow the grass now. A lot of times as kids, that's actually what we grow up as. A lot of gifts become debt. Oh, I can't receive because I'm going to owe. And so we feel this franticness that when someone gives, we have to pay it back. Otherwise, we're a bad person. We've been made to feel guilty in the past for receiving and not giving back. So now we're frantically trying to avoid that guilty feeling, frantically trying to avoid owing someone. And so when we receive as adults, we're like, oh my God, I have to do something for him. What can I do here? It's a weirdly uncomfortable feeling to receive without giving back. It can feel very selfish. And it's normal. It's healthy to do that. So good, I guess, receivers, when you're moving away from that nice girl, you got to be able to say, yeah, I'm worthy of that. I don't owe anything. And yes, of course, you can. We all probably don't want to be on the other end of the spectrum either, which is completely entitled, completely almost ignorant. You know, I don't know if anyone here watches Below Deck. Anyone of you watch that show? It's a funny show. But you see a lot of pretty bougie people on there, right? And that's kind of part of, we say, oh, I don't know if I want to be that. These people are like so entitled and so high end that like it's almost sickening. I'm not saying to be that. Okay, that's not the point. I'm saying you want to bring yourself to the middle. So if he pays for dinner, you don't owe him anything. You don't. If he pays for dinner a couple of times, why don't you buy ice cream if you really feel something little? The biggest payback for men, though, is your feelings. Appreciation you saying that we made you happy or joyous or feel appreciated or whatever it is, maybe you touch us, that's our effect as men on your feelings is the biggest payback. So it's not acts of service. It's not feeling like you have to do things. It's seeing the way we affected you. Why do you think guys get so obsessed with women orgasming, right? With making a woman climax? Because we are fascinated by the effect, not even fascinated, we are almost obsessed with the effect we have on you. Because women are conductors of feelings, and because you guys can be so good with your feelings, it's almost like mesmerizing to us to see your capacity with feelings, because we don't really have that. We're kind of like, oh, what's it like to be that feelingy? We don't really get it. So when you display that, it's very feminine, it's very attractive. So whether it's climaxing through sex or whether it's just you showing your feelings in the form of appreciation, that's a beautiful way to show us that we affected you. And we love affecting you, believe me. Whenever I'm doing relationship skills with clients, they don't realize how important it is in a 1% healthy relationship to show a guy, if it's positive, how your positive feelings have been affected, or even if you're giving him feedback, you use negative feelings. Men are really receptive to your feelings, believe it or not. It's just that honestly, most women I communicate don't really know how to share their feelings properly, or they don't even know what feelings are, or they don't know what they're feeling. It's amazing how disconnected we get from our feelings. But when you actually use that, you don't need to pay back in any other way. The effect we have on you in the form of your feelings is enough. And girls who get out of the nice girl category, women who get out of the nice girl category know this. They know that, hey, I don't owe him anything. I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. I am allowed to just feel it in my body, and he will get the payoff. He'll get the payoff for that. So Pierre says, I always feel like that. I feel awful when I don't give anything back. This can haunt me for years. How to get over that feeling. Yeah, so this is, if you're struggling with this, and maybe put in the chat if you can relate a little bit. Oh, I have this deep sense that I owe after someone gives. I'm like, oh, I always owe. This is a part of you, PA, that was trained from a young age. So it's a part of you that is trying to get your needs met. You know, imagine that part of me is like, oh my God, I really have to pay this back or else. What is the or else? Sometime when you were a kid, you learned there was an or else, which is if I don't pay it back, something worse happens. And it could be something very simple. You know, the younger you are, the simpler it can be. It could be when you were 2, mum said you were selfish for not giving that back, and it caused such tremendous pain that your body said never, ever let that pain happen again. And so that part of you that always wants to make sure you avoid that pain is working overtime and has been since you were 2 years old to make sure that you don't feel that pain again. So if I was working with you as a client, we would go in and we would heal that part and we would retire it essentially so that it doesn't have to work so hard anymore. Because clearly, if it's been haunting you for years, it's a very active part. It's a practice part. It's been doing this job a long time, and it needs your attention and soothing because it really feels something bad, really bad, is going to happen if you don't pay back this quote unquote debt. Yeah, look at all these people who can relate. Claire says I can relate. Pat says I can relate. Courtney says I can relate. It really is so common that, especially women, have this feeling of debt. Is I am given something and I have to pay it back, or I'm a selfish girl, I'm a bad girl. And the more you've had that, the more you'll have this conditioning around, oh shit, I don't want to be that selfish girl. That really hurt. So to make sure that never happens again, I'm going to carry this debt until it's off me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing all. If you do want to have a book in with me with a session, there's a thing on the website. It's basically you go to work with Mark, makehimyours.com.au/work-with-Mark. I will put that in the chat actually. makehimyours.com.au/work-with-Mark. Yeah. If any of you do want to work with me, you can do it there. Okay, so nice girl habits. We talked about thinking that niceness equals being a good person. Sometimes you have to hurt people's feelings to be authentic, and the confident, not nice girl knows that. That's part of why she gets respect. Number 2, you don't want to be the woman who never, ever walks away. You want to be the one that if push comes to shove, she can gently and firmly share her standards and then ruthlessly execute on them. That woman gets respect. But believing that receiving means you owe, that's one you got to drop as well. You don't owe anything when you receive, and being able to receive without feeling like you have to pay it back, just kind of taking it into your body, allowing it to affect you, that's actually the payment men want. That's the biggest payment men want. So if there's guilt coming up for you for being selfish, that's more of a childhood thing that you can work on either with a coach or in therapy, wherever. Let's have a look. How are we doing for time? Let's do 2 more. I guess Dr. Diana's not joining us, which is a little bit sad. Should I wait for that? Maybe she is. Okay. Diana says, should I wait for closer to 12? No, you can join now. I'm going to send her an email. No, you can join at 11:45. All right, that'll be fun. 11:45 or 11:50. All right, let's actually do questions while we're waiting for Diana. And then if she's not here yet, we'll do one more. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. And then we're going to get Dr. Diana Kirschner in, and she can join us to discuss some other nice girl habits. All right, let's have a look at some of these questions. Well, Christina says, how can I back up? How can I back up for being the nice girl and start over, quote unquote? I seriously care a lot about this man. We are long distance and he's a sweetheart, but I just realized I'm a nice girl. Now, what's the saying? Now is as good a time as any. That's not a saying. What is the saying? There is no better time than now. You know what I mean. I don't know. There's a very simple saying that I've completely forgotten, but the time is now to begin. So, yeah, you will get pushback because generally if you have kind of overcompensated and someone has become accustomed to you over there, as soon as you push back, you're going to get probably a little bit of righteous indignation or a little bit of pushback. Obviously, Christine, if I was working with you, we would sort of script how to say it because words do have effects and how you say something does actually make a big difference. So without knowing what the specific situation is, I would say, okay, get clear where you have let yourself go the most and start to bring those back in terms of feedback and in terms of feelings. So let's say that you say, I've really been a nice girl and he's just been working all the time and I've let go of the fact that I want a date night every week. Let's take that as the example. And we haven't had a date night for 3 weeks now. You would say, hey, babe, I've realized something. Are you free to chat sometime? At least see if you can get him on the phone. Hopefully you can get him on the phone. If you can't, you'll have to do it via text or voice memo, but that's not ideal. Once you get him on the phone, you say, hey, I've realized that I've kind of let go of something important to me. And, I've been feeling kind of disconnected, using a feeling. And I know that in the long term, that's something that, if I'm being honest, I'm not going to be okay with. So I was wondering, how would you feel, would reinstating the date night be something you're open to? And then maybe you get, worst case example, you get pushback. And he says, oh, no, babe, I already told you I'm busy for another 3 weeks. You say, look, that's fine. I'm never going to force you into anything. And I realize that I have kind of green lighted this up until now. So we need to change that a little bit. Or I need to take some responsibility for that. But I'm just going to let you know that, moving forward, I'm just being honest here. I'm not going to be okay being in a relationship where I'm feeling disconnected. Like, that's not my goals for life. That's not my goals for future kids. That's, I'm putting this out there that that's not something I'm going to be okay with moving forward. And he's going to start to get the message at that point because your words are gentle, but they have real impact. You can see the way I was saying it, right? And obviously from there, if he still is like, oh, no, I can't, you say, okay, well, I guess I appreciate you being honest at least. So I guess I'm going to have to have a real think about how we operate moving forward. And I want to work on this with you. But it seems like we kind of at an impasse here. So I don't know. I really need to have a serious think about things. That's essentially saying the hammer's coming down, bro. Or maybe he says, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I guess I'll do it if I have to. And you say, well, no, I don't want you to feel like you have to. I never want you to feel like you have to do anything with me. Relationships are always about choice, and this relationship is always about you having the freedom to choose. So I guess I want to know, is that something you actually want to do, or is it something that you feel obligated to do? Right? If it's something he wants to do, great. If it's something he feels obligated to do, then don't allow that. Yeah, hopefully that's somewhat of a helpful example to work through. Yeah, you just got to, the time is now. You got to start on those standards now, Christina. Okay, you said I'm an empath and it hurts me to hurt their feelings, so I become a yes woman, but I also have to put a foot down sometime. It will be a challenge. Yeah, you do. You do. I learned this lesson as a veterinarian. It really sucks hurting animals, but sometimes you have to put a little thing in their arm or, give them a needle, and they look at you like, why are you trying to kill me? And it's really hard, and you have to do it. It's just you got to put your big girl or big boy pants on, and you're like, all right, I know that this is for the greater good. I need to get comfortable with the discomfort if it's going to create more health in the person long term. And for example, if your boyfriend is crossing boundaries with alcohol, you calling that out and being authentic, not aggressive, not forceful, but just calling it out and putting whatever standard you want in place with it, or at least sharing it with him. Yeah, it will be uncomfortable for you. It will be very uncomfortable for him. It's going to suck for both of you. And it's the only way to a 1% healthy relationship. Let's have a look. Questions. Pop questions in the chat if you have them. Andrew. Andrew says, keep your standards high, but not too high. It's actually nice to have a bloke on here. It's true. It's actually true. If you think about it, I really want to do a drawing here, but I don't think I can do a drawing. Can I do a drawing? Maybe I can do a drawing. Let me see if I can do a drawing for you guys. I think you'll find this interesting. This is a little bit off topic, but should I drawing here? What Andrew's talking about here is, let's see if I can share the screen. I'm going to give this a roll here and see if I can. Damn it! I don't think that's going to work. No, I'll have to do it. I'll have to do it in front of you. If you think about it, if you have, okay, here's what I'm not okay with. Here's what I'm not okay with. And then here's what I might be okay with. And here's my ideal. Okay? So ideal, acceptable, everything below acceptable is not okay. You can raise your standards right up, right? You can say, none of this is acceptable. This is not, and this could be everything from looks to money, to emotional health, to financial success, to, it could be literally anything about it. It could be his social habits, right? This could apply to any category. So you can raise your standards right up and say, none of this is acceptable. None of this, 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 and only this much is acceptable. Okay. So you've got very high standards. But if you do that in every single area, with every category is like, it has to be ideal or I'm leaving, then you're going to have fewer and fewer people in that category, right? So especially if you're picking superficial things, like you say, my ideal is I'm only going to date blonde men, right? And that's one of my big deal breakers, nothing less than blonde. Well, you're ruling out a shit ton of people, right? Because you still have all the other standards that you have to apply to the blondes. On the other hand, if you lower your standards, you'll have more people that you can meet on this side, but you'll also have more chance of entering a situation that doesn't fully meet your needs. So you have to find that line. You have to find that line between, okay, here is I'm happy enough with my standards that they're high enough that I'm not going to accept less than I deserve, but they're low enough that there's still enough people in this range here that I haven't ruled out everyone in perfectionistic ridiculousness, right? It's really interesting. I'm actually writing another book about that, so watch this space for that. Okay, let's have a look. Questions. We'll do questions, and then hopefully Diana will be joining us. Oh, let's see. Post your questions in the chat. I'll answer them live. Free coaching. I could never tell my guy. Okay, so this is a good example from Pat here. Watch this, ladies. Absorb this. This is what we do. This is what we do to yes women. It's just a biological reality that if you can't set standards with us, eventually we'll find a woman who will. It's not a reflection that you are lower value. It's a reflection that you, unfortunately, through your actions, are projecting a lower value. So that's what we perceive. And then we go and end up with someone who projects a higher value. Your value isn't lower. But through your actions, sometimes we do things that betray ourselves and betray our value. And unfortunately, that's what we receive when we get a yes woman. Got to be able to tell us no. I definitely wouldn't be with my partner if she had just been a yes woman, because I could get away with anything. So I could go find someone who challenges me more, grows me more. Okay, let's have a look. New comments here. Courtney says, what can I do to stop being a yes person? I think the biggest thing I would start you with on Courtney is looking at where do you need to say no in your life. So again, ideal, acceptable, everything below that is not acceptable. I would be writing that in whichever category of your life you are too much of a yes woman. So is it social? Is it family? Is it intimate relationships? Wherever you're doing it the most, start there and start to look at, okay, what is my ideal? And then where is my acceptable below the ideal? And by just knowing that within yourself, you're going to be more aware of where, as in which opportunities go below your acceptable and you have to speak up. Once you're aware of those, then you change it, right? Now that I understand that's easier said than done. Sometimes just the awareness is enough. Other times the awareness is a start, but you say, Mark, I am literally 12 out of 10 terrified of telling someone no. That indicates deeper trauma there that you need to work through. If it's like a 6 out of 10 scared, a 7 out of 10 scared, maybe an 8 out of 10 scared, you can really lean into that fear. Grab your proverbial testicles and do it. If it's any more than that, though, if your fear levels are really, really high, you probably need to do some trauma work to allow you to take the actions necessary to change the pattern. Let's have a look. I have a friend over the world and here we go. PA says, I have a friend over the world and we flirt. He now takes it too far and our friendship is kind of gone. I often remind him and I tell him I want friendships rather than flirting. This is very typical of online guys, male-female relationships. It's hard to have a friendship long-term unless there is a significant reason from both parties that you shouldn't be together. Not just you, but both. So I have a friendship with my ex, but we both have a very significant reason that we should not be more than friends, which is A, we have a good friendship and we don't want to ruin it, but more importantly, B, we made terrible partners. Right? We tried that. We tried it to exhaustion and it didn't work. And that's why we both have a belief very deep in our bones that we should not be together romantically, like really deep, really, really deep. So for a man and woman to be friends, you have to have a really solid reason. Now, maybe you're both married. Maybe that's the reason. For a lot of people, that's like, okay, solid reason. That's just, we can never, we're friends. We'd never ever go there, right? Maybe both have partners. Maybe you tried it in the past. Maybe you find each other very unattractive romantically, but as friends, fantastic. You cannot, it's really hard to maintain long-term male-female friendships if both parties don't have a solid reason that you shouldn't be together. It can be anything, but you need a solid reason each that you shouldn't be together. Now, I have some good news. Our guest, I believe, is here. I think Dr. Diana Kirschner, author of Love in 90 Days. We're talking about nice girl habits today. I believe she's joined us. So, Diana, can you hear me? Maybe not if you can hear me. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring Diana on. Let's see how I do that here. If I click this. Hey!
Hey! Together again.
Oh, we're here. We were worried about you. I wasn't sure something had maybe happened, or clearly I just failed to communicate this was a live stream and not a pre-record. So.
I thought it was starting at 12 my time on the East Coast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so we had a timing mix-up, did we?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, dear. That's all right. I've been hanging out here with some of these amazing ladies for 54 minutes now. So you missed a little bit. You missed a little bit, but you know what? Here we are.
Well, you got Mark all to yourselves. What can I tell you, ladies?
I had to hold the fort without you.
Which is the best, right? The best. He doesn't need anybody else to teach you about love. I mean, he's fantastic.
I love Diana. Diana, it's great to see you. It's been too long. We got to do this more often. So it's great to have you back on the channel.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be on the channel, and look who's joining us now.
I could never ever do that with my cat. I could never do that. He or she?
It's a she. She wanted in on the action. Her name is Amara, which means God's gift. God's gift.
Amara. How old is she?
She's 6. Yeah.
Oh,
Three and a
she's
half pounds.
gorgeous. Oh, she is gorgeous. She's gorgeous. So, Diana, we've got people from all around. We got Australia, we got North Carolina, we had Texas, Western Australia, we got Sweden, we got where was there's a Florida as well. Your base. We got the
Yeah.
United Kingdom. I'm lost in the comments now. So, Diana, I have been talking about some of the nice girl habits that I came up with. So, to give you a very quick summary of the 3 that I spoke about, and for anyone who's just joined the stream, number 1, I spoke about thinking that niceness equals goodness, as in being a good person. The more nicer I am, the more of a good person I am. And I talked a little bit about how sometimes when we're authentic in relationships, we do need to hurt the other person's feelings. We do need to set a boundary to really be our truest self and set our boundaries. Sometimes we need to upset people. And if your definition of being a good person means that you never upset anybody, then you're going to have a real issue. You'll be forced to sort of white lie in those moments to be a good person, because we want to be good people. And basically disconnecting that idea that I have to always be nice to be a good person. Sometimes to be a good partner, you have to be willing to hurt others' feelings.
I love that. Love that. That's so important. Can I comment?
Absolutely. Please. Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So, in really, really healthy, happy couples, they're all alike, really. They're very, very similar. In healthy, happy couples, two people act as growth agents for each other. They help each other be the best selves they can be, right? And that in and of itself is so inherently pleasurable. It's so amazing. And it keeps you falling in love over and over again because you're both different. You're never the same, right? Now, in order to do that, it's not about being nice. It's not about being nice. It's sometimes setting boundaries. Like if you continue drinking, I'm not going to be available to sleep with you.
Yeah, I actually used the drinking example, so I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
See how we're on the same wavelength? We're totally on the same wavelength, So, what you're looking for is great love. Anybody who is following Mark or following me is really interested in great love. It's not about settling. It's not about, making do with whoever's available. This is about finding your great soulmate love, the guardian of your soul. And in order to do that, you have to be real. There's no way around it. If you allow your fears about being assertive to run you, you will never have that great love. Never, ever.
Here. Well said. So that was number 1. Thank you for that, Diana. Number 2 was making the guy feel like you will never, ever leave under any circumstance. And I obviously I had to give context here because we don't want to be the person who obviously threatens the relationship or uses those types of tactics. But I gave an example of where my partner has been very much, she's just put those standards in place with me early in our relationship. And she basically just said, look, don't stuff me around. I know what I'm looking for. We're long distance. So if you're not looking for commitment, just let me know right now or within the next 24 hours. And we can essentially go our separate ways, because she was very clear. She wasn't threatening, but she was willing to go back to the dating market if her base needs and base wants weren't met. And she didn't communicate that aggressively. She just said it gently, but her words had real oomph to them. And that's a very backboned thing to do.
Yes, that's fantastic. And the best, most powerful communication of a boundary is that calm communication, because it's like dead straight. Like, this is the way.
Yeah, that's what,
yeah, I need it to be. And it's fine if you can't be that way. And if you can't be that way, sayonara, really healthy couples, they appreciate the cost of loss, what I call the cost of loss. In other words, they don't take each other for granted. There could be the loss of the relationship. And that's in very healthy, happy couples, right? But they know they can't get away with a lot of bullshit, really acting out, selfishness and all that stuff. And they know that there could be loss. And that's what keeps people on their toes. That's really what keeps people on their toes, that you could lose a relationship. I've been married
It
for
is.
decades.
Yeah.
I've been married for decades. I never take it for granted. Never, ever.
I love that. I love that. Well said. Yes. You're so good at summarizing this, Diana. I love it. And the number three that I said, nice girl habit that we want to break, is believing that receiving equals owing. As in, every time I receive, I have to pay it back.
Oh, that is so good, Mark. Oh, that is so good.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
I love that because, we have that also with friendships also, right?
Yep.
And that's what keeps us distant from people, right? And especially women. They will not let anyone give to them, or they will not let their love partner give to them, because it's like, oh, what's going to happen down the pike? Then I have to do that for them, or I have to do more for them. If I take this, I have to do
like
more.
Work.
Yeah. Yes. And so basically, this is a push away. This is what happens, is that then you are pushing the love away. You are pushing love away from you that is trying to come to you. And in particular, as you know well, the men love to make women happy. They love to be the warriors, the hunters. They love to aspire to make women, yes, happy. It is a gift for a man to give to you. It's automatically a gift to him. It's automatically a gift to him. If he can take in and feel his good about himself, like, oh, I could make her happy, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very important. I love that. I love that. You break that habit if you have that habit.
I sort of spoke about that the way we affect your feelings as a woman is kind of our reward. If we can make you experience joy or happiness or appreciation, whatever the emotion is, if we give to you, then I like the way you put that. It's like your payment back is kind of like taking it in, and then we get our, I guess, high or whatever you want to call it. We get our reward from seeing the way it affects your feelings. That's what we love. You don't have to pay it back in any other way other than just receiving it fully.
Yes. And there's a thrill to that. There's an absolute thrill to that. I still ask my husband to do things for me that I could easily do myself. And he loves it. Yep. He loves it after
decades. Yeah, we feel useful.
We feel useful.
That's men. We want to be useful. Let us be useful, damn it. We want to be useful. Yes. All right, so Diana, those were my three. So now that you have blessed us here, I would love to hear a few from you.
Yes.
What would you like to share?
Yes, the one we see all the time in our coaching program is working overtime to make the guy love you. You're super nice. It's not just being a nice girl. You're super nice. You go above and beyond. You're going to get him tickets to the playoffs. You're going to get his business up and running. You're going to mentor him if he wants to write a book. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, okay,
right?
yeah.
So awesome. You are working overtime. You're going to make this guy love you. Damn it. You're going to make this guy love you. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're nice. You're super nice. You're thinking, who wouldn't love this? Who wouldn't be thrilled to get these tickets? Who wouldn't be thrilled to have me as a mentor for their business, right? You're thinking, there's nobody better than me, right?
I'll help him. I'll prove what a great girlfriend I am.
Yes.
How could he ever reject me?
The thing is, if you think about our last point, what is that doing? If you think about the last point that Mark and I made, what is that doing? That's taking away from him the ability to make you happy, right? So essentially, in a way, you're emasculating the man. You're emasculating the man. And we had a woman in our coaching program came in. She was very high powered, super successful. Rolling in the dough, really, and gorgeous. And this is the mistake she kept making. I mean, she met this guy. He was really, really interesting. He had fallen on hard times, and but he was, very sharp, very bright. Had a successful background, but he had fallen on hard times. So she sets about helping him reset his career. And, she invites him to do some consulting to her business and her friend's business. And no, the next thing she knows, what happens? Gone. He's gone. And then she sees later that he's now met someone, is engaged to somebody else.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's what happens to the helper women, isn't it? It's
yeah.
They help the guy get back, and then they get left.
Oh my God! Then you see on Facebook or Instagram that he's actually with somebody, and they're like not half as accomplished as you. They're not half as giving as you, right? And you're thinking to yourself, why in the world didn't he take advantage of what I had to offer? There's nobody offering as much as me, right? But if you think about our last point, men need to feel like they're able to make you happy. And this is very hardwired in biologically. This is not just some little psychological thing that has to do with this zeitgeist right now. This is wired in for thousands and probably millions of years of biology, right? The men really feel the need to make you happy. So, her coach forbade her from ever trying to make anybody love her, right?
Nice.
And, she put her on a dating program of 3, which we've talked about before. I know you've talked about. And she wound up with this amazing soulmate. And she had to bear it as he gave to her. She had to grin and bear it as he gave to her. And then she got more and more used to it. And then she got thrilled with it, right? To have a real loving partner.
Oh,
you can't make
beautiful.
You can't make anybody love you. You just cannot make anybody love you. It's either there or it's not there.
Well said.
Yeah. I don't know how much more time we have. I'm so sorry about being late.
No, that's good. We can go to half past. I'd love to hear these other 2 points. So number 4, you can't make anyone love you. Stop working. The person either loves you or they don't. It's drop the nice girl thing of working to earn it. That's find someone, dial back on the habits first of all, and then find someone where the momentum flows in the other direction.
Yes, absolutely. And then the next issue about being a nice girl, right, is actually accepting crumbs, right? And being super understanding. Well, he can't spend my birthday with me because he has the kids this weekend, and he's not really ready to introduce me to the kids. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Right. I haven't seen him in person for weeks because he's been busy working. And I told him I was available this weekend, and he said he was tied up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know he cares about me. He really does. He does love me. This is the kind of stuff, that we tell ourselves. It's really, it's like a fantasy lie, right? It's like we're ignoring the fact that we're getting crumbs. We're ignoring that on the list of priorities, first comes his kids, second comes work, right? And then comes his dog.
Yeah, fourth is golf.
You're fifth, right?
Fifth is probably his Nintendo. Sixth is
Nintendo.
Sixth is building the treehouse outside, and we could go on.
I'm so glad you said that about the Nintendo, because there are gamers, and that's so true with these gamers.
I'm really busy tonight. 5 hours of Mario Kart later. I had a big day.
But but then you start, but he really does love me. I mean, I just know it. I feel it. I mean, when I was dating, I used to do that. I really used to do that. I mean, the guys would be treating me like absolute shit. And I
So
would be like,
how do you break that, Diana? If the women are watching, going, "Oh, that's me," it's like I kind of know that it's bad for me. I just keep bloody doing it. It's like an addiction.
yeah.
How do you break that addiction?
Well, the only thing that broke that for me was having a love coach. That was the only thing that broke it. I couldn't get out of it. I was not loved up as a child. You know my history. I was not loved
Yeah.
or wanted. I mean, my mother tried to have an abortion. My father never said I love you except once when he was drunk. So
Mm.
I was desperate. I mean, I was desperate. You give me a little attention, I'm like, give me more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what really helped me was having a coach. I had a coach, and he said, "You are amazing. You're incredible. You deserve everything. You deserve absolutely everything." And I actually surrendered to him. I surrendered to him. In other words, I said, okay, well, he's saying this, and out of I don't know what, even loyalty to him or whatever, I was like, well, I can't let
Yeah.
him down because I
Yeah.
really cared about
You were just
him.
able to. Surrender's such an interesting word to use. It's almost like you just sort of said, "All right, I'm just going to open my mind and take on his belief set and just
Yes,
imprint that and just like not fight it anymore. I'm just going to, all right, I'll just surrender to this new belief system." And yeah, that's an
yes,
interesting word to use for it.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he was so kind to me. He was really like a new father to me. So he was so
Wow.
kind and caring and validating and appreciative. And I didn't want to let him down, which was an interesting dynamic, really, really interesting.
Right.
So as a result, I wound up with the most amazing man who was my husband. I'm like, somebody who loved me too much. I was like, ugh, he really loved. Oh my God,
How long have you been with married now? How long have you been with your husband now?
over
How
30
many years?
years.
Over
And we're
30 years.
crazy
Congratulations.
about each other.
Congratulations.
We are crazy about each other. Crazy. We actually get more crazy about each other all the time. People always say to me,
Oh,
"Why are you so
that's
happy?
very,
Why are you laughing?" That's it.
that's very, very cute. That's very cute. We'll have to do another one about keeping that spark long term. I think that is a topic that you'd be a master at, Diana. So maybe we do another stream in the future
Yeah, we
about
could
that.
definitely do that because there's an art to that, because you're up against the deadly auto habit patterns that happen in a relationship. Once you get into a routine, it's
Yeah.
very boring. It's very boring, and you actually are talking to each other in a routinized script. Hi, how are you? Yeah, how was your day?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. And that's a killer. That's just a killer, not actually being present with each other. But that's a whole other topic which we can do.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic. Post in the chat if you'd like to hear Diana and I talk about that another day. So if that'd be cool, talking about long distance, keeping the excitement, keeping the magic, not falling into a routine. If you'd like to know
Mhm,
about that in the future, let me know in the
mhm,
chat. Post a heart or a one in the chat.
mhm,
So
mhm.
beautiful. So accepting crumbs, big one. I see that in my clients as well. So I can definitely relate to that one. Overworking, being the nice girl who works for love, huge one. Two bombs from Diana. So Diana, I'd love to hear third nice girl habit now. Third of yours, six of
Mhm,
today.
mhm.
What are they got to drop?
Okay, yes, it's waiting for the guy to make it all happen, and totally, totally waiting and being totally passive,
Mm.
right? Totally,
Hmm.
totally passive.
That's a good one.
And
Yeah.
this, so this is about being nice. This is about being super accommodating. This is about shutting your mouth. You're hoping that he actually does certain things in terms of sexually or kissing you or whatever that is, or you're hoping that he somehow takes you out to this game that you want to see or this event, and you don't really offer your truth about what would make you happy. You don't. So when he asks you what you want to do, you say, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Being passive,
I
not having the
mean,
opinion.
you're right. So he's like, well, do you like this music? Yeah, sure. Yeah, when you hate it, right? Being too accommodating. just being not real. You're just being like a false self. You're a false self. And believe me, I did this also. I mean, when I was dating early on, I really didn't feel like I was lovable. And when I was real, right? So I would
Yeah.
try to be the person that the guy would like or love, right? Never works. Never ever works. You know, if you're too accommodating, you're not saying your truth. Um, it's just not going to work because it's in that
Yeah.
sharing, this honest, authentic sharing, right? That the real love happens. You know, if you're being a false self, you will never feel loved. Never, ever, ever. Because what the person is doing is they're loving your facade. They're loving your image. Right. Yeah. They're loving your image. So your heart, your soul, your real gifts will never be there to be validated, you know, in that relationship. You're not going to feel whole. You're not going to feel happy. You're not going to feel loved. You're really, really not. And it's very interesting. And women even do this to the point of marrying people in a false self. Marrying people. You know, a woman came into our coaching program and she, you know, she had been married, and it was very interesting because if you look, she had like a photo of her marriage. And in the photo, she is not happy, not truly happy, you know, with the
On a wedding
eyes
day, you mean?
lit up, you know, with the eyes lit up and the puffy cheeks and the
Yeah.
true happiness, right? She's fake.
Wow.
She's fake. She has a fake smile, fake. And even though they're in this very romantic position, you know, on, you know, sunset, on the beach, you know, he's dipping her over.
Yeah.
It's a very romantic position, but she's not thrilled, and you can see it. She's not
Yeah.
thrilled,
So this is
you know.
wedding photos.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And interesting. So we, you know, we really worked with her on finding her own unique diamond self, what we call your diamond self, which is your real self. It's your real self with the real gifts and the real quirks and the real funny things and the best you too that you can be. It's real though. It's real. And
Yeah.
you know, and she's now very, very happy. She's not yet with another guy, but she will now be ready for a real relationship. But this business of turning yourself inside out,
It's
believe me,
almost a different form of work, isn't it? It's more subtle than the initial, which is like, I'm gonna fix his business, or I'm gonna buy him the best tickets. This is sort of a more subtle work where it's like, I have to be something. And I guess, Diana, a question they might have in the chat here is, if someone has never really experienced being loved for those quirks or for those diamond assets, that's often where we put the projection on, because it's like, well, what if we put those diamond assets out there and the first couple of guys aren't into it? It's like confirmation of some of my fears that my parents didn't love those things, and now, you know, at least with the projection, I can sort of, the bullets hit something else. This is, how do you get over that fear of like, if I really put my true self out there and the first couple don't go my way, the bullets hit me now? How does someone face that fear?
that's a fantastic question. That's right, because you're being truly vulnerable, right? It takes so much courage to be truly vulnerable. It's amazing. And that's where you could be really hurt. Um, that's where your inner work comes in. You need to do the inner work. And that inner work is validating and prizing yourself, validating and prizing yourself, giving yourself a loving nickname, you know, the resilient goddess, the courageous goddess, the amazing one who can handle anything that comes down the pike. That could be a name too. Can handle anything. I like that diamond self name.
I'd go with Cram myself.
Oh, I see. What does cran mean?
Read it backwards.
Ah! You see how creative Mark is. I mean, he's so
This is what I do to
fantastic.
entertain myself.
Make sure you're subscribed to his channel because his channel is the best. So you got to make sure you're subscribed. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification button because his is the best. I kid you not. You need to subscribe. Definitely.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you.
Yeah, he's so
I
creative
interrupted
and he's so fun.
We're talking nicknames. You were talking about the inner work with the diamond self and making sure that the person's done the inner work so that they can validate themselves in the face of that potential rejection, right?
Yeah, yes. And that's where a coach really comes in as well, because this is someone who's relating to your diamond self, is relating to the real beautiful you. I mean, it's like having a fairy godmother. I think everybody needs a fairy godmother. They need a fairy godmother who can see how amazing they are under the ashes, under the ashes. The fairy godmother looks at you and says, oh my God, you're incredible. Right? Even before you see it yourself, you're like, no, I'm not. No, I've just been rejected. I've been left. I mean, but the fairy godmother holds that vision.
One of my clients developed Wolfie, and it's basically a name for her intuition, and it's a beautiful white wolf that follows around her, and she sort of checks in how Wolfie's feeling, and it's sort of it's like a representation of her intuition. And if Wolfie's happy, or Wolfie feels the situation is safe, she's good. If Wolfie's like snarling a bit, then yeah, it's been a very just a very accessible way for her to go, oh, what's my intuition? What's Wolfie saying?
I love that. I love that. So ladies, that's a great idea to actually give your intuition a nickname or to give yourself a nickname, right? And especially if you put in there courageous or incredibly loving, whatever, you put in something about strength that has strength to it and it gives you a really good feeling, that is really, really powerful. So you say, I am the wonder diva of the universe, or I am.
I love that. The wonder diva of the universe. Diana, can I be a wonder diva of the universe?
Even a guy can get to be a wonder diva.
Excellent. I can identify with anything I like. Diana, shall we talk about if people do want to work with you? You've talked a lot about coaching. How can people actually? Is there a link that I can type in the chat here?
Yes, it's lovein90days.com /dating-coach. But if you guys just go to dating-coach. But if you guys just go to lovein90days.com, lovein90days.com, and click on the coaching tab, but just put in there that Mark sent you. Make sure you put in there that Mark sent you, please, so that I can guarantee you can have a gift session with one of my team. We have an amazingly unusual team, actually, because it's a team of 8 coaches that specialize in various things, and also we have a group supervision once a week. So if there's any obstacle, the entire team weighs in, like, oh, I'm not meeting enough men in Boston. So the whole team weighs in. Well, these are the sites that work in Boston. Right. Yeah. Do
the clients typically work with one of those 8 coaches, or do they work with several?
They work with one. They only work with one, but they can always request that the group also answer their question in addition to their own mentor. And also they can ask my opinion through their coach. I don't see anyone directly, but I oversee everything that happens. So it's amazing. And you guys can have a gift session there. You can have a free session there. Right there. If you're watching this on my website, you can see the coaching tab right at the top.
I'll put the whole thing in the chat there. So if people do want to work with you, I think they can click. Hopefully that link is clickable. If it's not, you'll be able to type it in. So I'll make sure it's in the description later as well.
Yeah. Or just go to
go to lovein90days.com. Check it out there. So guys, if you have questions, we've still got a few minutes here. So if you have a question for Dr. Diana, it's very rare. She doesn't work with clients one-to-one. So this is a pretty cool opportunity. Pop it in the chat. I'm going to have a scroll through here and see if we have some questions here. I live in the. There's a multi-part question there. This is Jennifer. Jennifer? Yeah, Jennifer says, how can, I believe she means, how can you remain yourself without changing who you are if you're an honest and blunt and kind person? Any thoughts, Diana?
Well, I love that. I love that, Jennifer, that you know yourself really, really well. And I think it's important to just stay with it, and actually when you write your profile, right, you're going to say some of these things. So you're going to attract men who want this, right? So right underneath your photo, I like to see a few punchy words right under your photo. So it'll be this beautiful picture of you, which is gorgeous, by the way. I like this picture for dating. And then underneath, you're going to put honest, real. We wouldn't call it blunt in terms of the putting it on the profile. We would say real, honest, period, real, period, kind, period, right? So that's going to be a very powerful first line for you. And that's going to attract people who are going to love you. They're going to love you for exactly who you are. They will love you.
Yeah. Thank you, Diana. Great answer. Thank you, Jen, for the question. Let's have a look. If you have questions, please pop them in the chat. What else have we got here? Entertain together. We answered a few of them before you jumped on. What were you about to say, Diana?
Well, I'll tell you, while we're waiting, make sure you get subscribed to Mark's channel and get that notification. Oh my God, you donated to his project, Rockstar Girl.
I think this was when we were having the discussion about overworking. Rockstar Girl says, I even donated to his project. When I said I didn't want to support him anymore and said he was the hacker, he tried to make me look like the bad guy for being upset. And this is the other thing. If you are in that I'm going to work for love, if you end up in that pattern that Dr. Diana talked about, what often happens is you attract guys that essentially just want to be users. Just kind of want to receive that, use it, run that ship as long as they can run it, and then jump off. And we saw someone else in the chat.
They're so destructive. These guys who are users are so destructive, right? And they have an art to making you look wrong at all times. I'm glad you brought this up, Rockstar Girl, because they know how to make you wrong at all times. They know how to manipulate your guilt, right? If things aren't being given to them, they're so entitled, right? And they're so self-centered. And so, with a person like this, you're going to feel bad. You actually feel bad. You feel like you're giving, but you feel like crap inside. And that is your signal, right? That's your inner Wolfie, your inner.
Yes.
Your inner Wolfie.
What does Wolfie think about this?
It's telling you, no.
Yeah. Well said, man. Let's go to Sarah's comment here. So Sarah says, how can I not let my insecurities get the best of me when I don't get attention? I have a fear of being ghosted.
Okay, good. Okay, so I want you, Sarah, to try to just finesse out in your mind, what does it mean to you when somebody disappears on you and you're ghosted, right? So I want you to actually write down what it means. Oh, it means that I'm not lovable. It means I'll never have love. It means, I'm not attractive, blah, 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 blah. Nothing to offer. I'm damaged goods, whatever. These are the words of what I call your inner critic. That's your mean, which is a bunch of BS, right? So you write that down, and then you want to look at those sentences and say, each one, this means I'll never have love. You want to say, is that really true? Is that really true? Right? And none of these things are really true. Just because Joe ghosted you doesn't mean you'll never have love. Just because Joe ghosted you doesn't mean that you're not lovable. Just because Joe ghosted you doesn't mean that you have nothing to offer, right? And so you want to detach from that, right? And then also, I want you to throw yourself into working your apps and your sites, your dating sites, so you have tons of people. So you don't give a flying F about when somebody disappears.
Yeah.
You got so many in the mix, right? I want you to get a lot in the mix, a lot, and date several people at once, 3 casually without sex. You can kissing and cuddling, okay, but that way you protect yourself.
Diana, I'm just going to let the cat out. She's been harassing me. So you hold the fort for 10 seconds.
Join you. See, even the cat wants to be with Mark.
That's mine. Wolfie, she's out of here. She's like, I can't take any more of this. She was hitting that door.
You ladies are so smart to be on this, because you will save yourself working with Mark and being, getting all this amazing information from his channel. You're going to save yourself so much heartbreak. It's not even funny. I mean, I'm talking years of heartbreak, because when the wrong person gets a hold of you, it's years. And sometimes it's a financial cost too. So I really salute you. I think you're amazing for being on here. I mean, really, I want you to take that in. I really salute you for being on here. You're fantastic.
And it's years of not being with that person who could tick all those boxes and who could really provide.
The loss of happiness. Yes. That's even worse sometimes, because you finally, we have people in our coaching program, they're in their 60s and 70s, some of them, and they're like, they finally meet the love of their life, and it's like they only have like 10 years left or 5 years, and it's really sad. But this is when you're doing this, where you're seeking knowledge and you're getting it from people who know what they're talking about, you're not going to have that, even though it seems like you are, but you're not going to have that kind of negative outcome. It's because you're well ahead of everybody else.
It's so powerful. Diana, this is about all we've got time for today. Some amazing questions here. I'd love to go through them, but maybe we can get you back on in a month or so and do something similar again. In the meantime, you are so amazing. How do the ladies find you? I think I've actually got a comment here. Love in 90 Days, where they can find you. And I'll put a link in the description as well when I finished up here, so I'll make sure that is a thing. Diana, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap today?
Yes, because we're going to be airing this on my website, and I want to make sure that everybody goes from my website to your channel. So what is the name of your channel on YouTube?
Channel is, you can either search Mark Rosenfeld, just my name, or you can search Make It Yours. Either will bring it up.
Yeah, so everybody's watching this. I want you to get over there definitely and get yourself signed up for Mark's wonderful channel, and don't forget the notification button.
Little bell next to the red subscribe button.
That's right, the bell.
Diana, it's been such a pleasure, as it always is. Thank you for sharing your wonderful energy and your wonderful advice with us. Again, if you want more info from Diana, head to lovein90days.com. Diana, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much, ladies. We appreciate you so much. I appreciate you for following my work.